Okay, yeah.
All right, we are live from the Rivs Tongs River Hub with two-time Super Bowl champion Ottis Anderson from the New York Giants ahead of the 2024 NFL Draft. Ottis, thank you for joining here. Thank you for coming. I want to talk about your draft experience. You got drafted in 1979, round one, pick number 8 by the St. Louis Cardinals back in the day. Yeah. So talk about your draft experience. What was that like? Obviously, the draft was different from now, but just talk about your experience.
Well, you know, mine was at my house and in my dining room, and it was local press that came out because they didn't have it the way it is today, so it's totally different. And it was a phone call, like they are currently doing with a lot of players. And I was told that I was going to be drafted by the Giants at pick number 7. I actually had a meeting with Ray Perkins on Friday. 4 days before the draft, and he said we're picking 7th in the first round and we're picking you. That following Sunday, I got a call from the Cardinals. They say they're picking 8th in the first round, and I said to them, I don't think I'm gonna be available. And they said, but what if you are? I said, well, if I am, I'll be loved and be happy to play for the Cardinals. Well, that following Wednesday was draft, and my phone did not ring. At the 7th pick, it was Phil Simms, and I'm sitting there with like, okay, I've just been lied to. And the Cardinal was next up on the podium, and they say, out of the University of Miami, right then and there. I knew it could only been one other person. That was I. And they called my name, and I actually had a Cardinal. I had a Giant head under the table because I thought it was going to be Giants. And one of my friends was a Cardinal baseball player, which was the same logo of the football team. And when they called Cardinals, I fling him the Giant hat. He fling back the Cardinal hat. I put on my head and I said, I always want to be a Cardinal. And that was my experience, man.
Wow.
Crazy, yeah.
So how do, as a player, waiting for your name to be called, how do you deal with that situation where a team that has been interested in a player for a while, but they don't end up picking you? So how do you deal with that situation?
Well, you don't really know where you're going to get drafted. Yeah. Everybody can assume you're going to be drafted. They told me coming out I was going to be 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round pick. Never thought I would be first. So I didn't even think of being a first round draft pick until Ray Perkins mentioned that they were drafting early. Other than that, I never would have thought about it, and the Cardinals never would have thought about it. It consumes you because you have an idea where you want to go, but you have no control of where you go. There are certain teams that you feel you would be a better pitch for the team, you know, and you might not be. You know, so you just hope you get drafted. Bottom line, at this point in your life, you don't care who you go to, just as long as somebody select you, and that makes it better. Yeah.
So you ended up playing for the Giants later in your career.
7 years later.
Yeah, 7 years later, playing with great talent like Leonard Marshall, Lawrence Taylor. You got Harry Carson, Phil Simms. You ended up playing with Phil Simms. So talk about that transition from St. Louis and eventually coming to the Giants.
Well, it was a transition, and it was kind of spooky because I was at practice on Wednesday, and then I got traded that day while I was at practice. So that night, enjoy the background music, ladies and gentlemen. This is something little special we adding to you to enjoy as we do this interview. So don't get caught up in the back music. Still focus on yours truly. So, but yeah, I was surprised that I got drafted. I was surprised that they sent me to the Giants, which were in the same division. Normally that don't happen. I'm probably one of the few players that ever been drafted mid-season to the opponent in your division. And we had just played the Giants that Sunday, and I was a Giant that Thursday. So it was nerve-wracking because they wanted me to leave practice Wednesday to be in New York in Jersey on Thursday. And Wednesday afternoon, I was like, I can't do that, but I could be there Thursday. So Thursday morning, I was a Giant in New Jersey.
Wow. So one final thing here. So looking into this draft, the New York Giants have the 6th pick overall. So what do they need to do to make the fans happy? And so if you were like a GM or owner in this situation, having the 6th pick, a lot of things could happen now in this draft. So a lot of people are saying they need to get a quarterback or get a wide receiver. So what would you do in their situation?
Well, I think the Giants and every team that draft, they get the best player that's available. And that could be any one of the positions you just called. When you're a team that didn't make the playoff, you need help everywhere. So it's just like you guys, I've heard a lot of hype about LSU receiver, Washington State receiver, quarterback. It's a good position to be in, but that means you're a loser. Because you drafted early. I mean, you really didn't do a whole lot as a team. So again, they need help everywhere. But if I'm selecting, I think I paid a lot of money to Daniel Jones. I'm not going to give up on him right away. I'm going to try to surround him with some talent. I believe he's good. I believe he's a better player than he has shown, but he just never had an opportunity. So it's going to be good to see him with some good help around him. And if they go over receiver and they go with the kid from either LSU or Washington State, that's going to really help him out a lot.
So you heard it here, Giants people. Ottis, you heard it from Ottis Anderson, your legend, 2-time Super Bowl champion. We're going to find out and see what the Giants picked in the 6th overall. So thank you for joining today at the Rivs Thomas River Hub. So let's go have some fun with the fans. And thank you again.
And thank you, and have a good day. And whoever team your team is, I hope they get what they need. But anyway, if they don't, you have some good background music to enjoy yourself with. So have a good day.